Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how I made this large Snoopy yard sign to add to my fall decor. I cut out the bottom black layer to use as a stencil to trace onto a sheet of plywood, which was then cut out using a jigsaw. So I'm going to walk you through this process step by step. You are more than welcome to use my larger than matte SVG file. The Snoopy image is 33 inches high and 36 inches wide, and the file is already sliced into pieces to fit a 12 by 24 inch mat. So all you would need to do to make this larger than matte project is upload the file into Design Space and cut. That's it. There is no slicing you would need to do because that part is already done. Once you have the file saved onto your computer, just upload the file into Design Space. At this point, all I've done is upload the file, click on the image, and ungroup all of the pieces. You'll notice this orange piece to the side, and that's there for a reason. I had to save this file just like this with this piece going vertical instead of horizontal. For some reason, Design Space would not let me cut and gave me errors because of this piece. I don't know why, but there's just weird things that I have to do to get these files to work sometimes. So after you ungroup the image, that is all you need to do to continue to the cutting process. The first thing I do is cut out my bottom layer first. I don't cut anything else until the bottom layer is cut. Since I'm using this layer as a stencil, I'm just using a random colored cardstock just so I don't use up my black cardstock. After I've cut all my bottom layer pieces, I'm going to assemble them back together. Make sure you have your image available so you know how to put your image back together. Also, keep in mind that your pieces are going to look a little different than mine. As I was putting this together, I realized I could have sliced this in a better way that would make a little more sense when it's time to assemble the pieces. I felt like the way that I sliced this layer was a bit unorganized, and I just thought it could be better. Now, if you're using black cardstock and don't plan on using this as a stencil, I would recommend flipping all of your pieces over onto the back side and applying the tape to the back side because you don't want that on the front. Once I have my bottom layer completed, I'm going to trace it onto my wood and then cut it out. Now, if you know me, you'll know I love using glitter HTV vinyl. I am using a different brand other than the one I usually use because they didn't have my color. But now all I'm going to do is cut out the rest of my image onto my HTV vinyl. I've only used glitter HTV on these yard signs and it's worked well for me. But I really encourage you to do a test piece if you are using anything else. I don't have any complaints so far with this vinyl, so we'll see how it holds up in the elements. Now here's where you just put all the pieces back together, and don't forget to have your image near you to reference. When I have large pieces of vinyl like this, I like to remove the whole thing from the carrier sheet and iron on right on top of that vinyl. In my opinion, it just applies onto the wood better, and you just don't have to wait for it to cool down before you peel the carrier sheet off. So here I'm just removing my vinyl pieces and placing them in their correct spots. I'm using my mini press on the medium setting, and I'm going to apply heat in 3 to 5 second intervals in sections. I believe I started with 3 seconds and that wasn't enough time, so I upped it to 5 seconds. And I'm just carefully sliding my iron onto the next section, but do be careful when sliding the iron because sometimes the wood is not always completely smooth. So just be mindful of that. And once I have this piece completed, I'm going to move on to the next piece. And once I have it lined up next to my completed piece, I'm going to iron this piece down, starting where the two pieces join. Also, a tip when working with glitter vinyl, always apply your vinyl onto your mat going the same way every time. Do not turn your vinyl around and put the opposite end of the vinyl onto the mat, because that's exactly what I did. And now it actually looks like a different color, which it bothered me so much that I actually recut the same piece from the start of a new vinyl roll and just ironed it right on top of the old piece.